Hi guys, so I want to use this video to do a very quick session on deal analysis. Now, what is deal analysis? That is a term that you would have only heard of if you have been on the program or if you've watched the free webinar, which is currently on our website, www.propertymumsacademy.com. Essentially, deal analysis is you trying to do exactly what it says on the tin. So we're trying to figure out whether this opportunity that you have is a deal. Now, obviously in our program, how to rent, control and monetize property you do not own like a pro, we do a lot of deal analysis because it's absolutely critical. And all you really want a deal analysis to tell you is whether there is a deal or there isn't. So there is no grey area. We need to know, if I take on this property, will it make me money? Yes or no? Now, sometimes a property will make you money. And again, I've got a baby in the background. It's Property Mums Academy. Sometimes a property will make you money, but it might not make you as much money as you would personally like, or the type of money that you would expect from that particular property. So it could be, yes, on the deal analysis, yes, I will make some money. But the analysis will also tell you how much you're going to make, and then you can decide whether that is your target figure. You can decide whether that deal is worth it for you. And that's obviously based on whatever strategy that you've decided to use that property for. So don't forget, we've got two main strategies, which is our service accommodations or our HMOs. Now, the strategy of assisted living, the structure of assisted living is becoming more and more popular. Now, this is something that I'm looking into right now. But when I get more information on that strategy, and if it meets our analysis, so exactly in the same way that we would deal with the service accommodation or the HMO, we would obviously take the strategy of assisted living, providing an assisted living facility, using that property as an assisted living facility. We would put that through the whole deal analysis as well. Now, obviously, if it does make sense for us in terms of the finance, yes, absolutely, we can go for it. If it doesn't make sense, then absolutely no. We're not going to take on a property that's not making us money. So the whole process of deal analysis is actually really critical. It's a fundamental process. Now, in that deal analysis, obviously, I'm not going to divulge everything because, as I say, when you go on the program or when you join our program and register for the program, Property Making Mums, how to rent, control and monetize property you don't own, we obviously go into this, as I say, in depth, right? So I'm not going to go through all the factors that you need to consider on this video. But what I will say is your deal analysis is supposed to have an end-to-end list of everything that relates to that properties. So we're talking about the outgoings and the incomings of that properties. Now, that could vary depending on whatever it is that you're taking on. So a list of the factors that you have to consider is dependent on the strategy that you have chosen. I just had to stop to make a quick sandwich for my little one, just to keep reminding you that this is Property Mums Academy. You're probably going to find yourself doing exactly the same thing as I'm doing right now, whilst you're on the phone to your builders, on the phone to your handyman, trying to sort one or two things out, trying to pay attention to what's going on in their schools and all of that. But it can obviously be done, okay? It's called multitasking, and apparently we're really good at that, okay? So essentially the factors that you need to list in terms of your consideration for each of your properties and each of your strategies are going to vary, right? So I can't go into all of them, but you might need to consider, for one property, you might need to consider the ground rent, which is, of course, the service charge for that particular building. For another property, it might be that you just need to consider the Wi-Fi or whatever the additional amenities are that are required in that area for your particular strategy, right? So you need to add that as part of your deal analysis. There needs to be a comprehensive list of everything that you need to consider and that you need to deduct, essentially, when you are looking at your income and your expenditures. And obviously that will then give you the profit that you may be aiming for on a monthly basis. So please make sure that you are considering everything that is probably necessary, absolutely necessary, for that particular strategy or for that particular property, so that your outcome, your profit margin, whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, gives you a real estimate and a real perspective of what you might be able to get from that deal. That is what deal analysis is. Is it a deal or not? Not every opportunity is a deal, okay? If in some cases a landlord is charging you a rent that you know is over and above what that property deserves, then you need to obviously take action on that. That would not be a deal, because every little penny is cutting into your profit, right? And at the end of the day, your pennies make up your profit. So we really need to seriously be looking after our pennies and keeping a massive, watchful, intense eye on our profit when it comes to these strategies, because don't forget, this is not our property, right? So we're not paying mortgages right now. Again, obviously in the program, I'm trying to get you to the point of ownership. We're trying to accumulate these properties, use the right strategies for these properties, manage them in the right way until we can grow our assets, our cash assets on each of these properties. And at some point, we are hoping to pull that together in order to become owners ourselves. It's an absolute real possibility. It happens, okay? So that is the journey in the long term. So this is what I'm saying in terms of where we are going. We cannot afford to be wasting money. We cannot afford for the rent to be higher than what it should be just because we want to secure a property. That's not how we want to work. The opportunities will come. The right property will come. So please don't feel like you need to be putting yourself through deals that you are not confident with, okay? That's very, very important, because I've had students, obviously we want to achieve a property, we want to start this thing, we want to kick it off as quickly as possible. I want you to be out there making money. I want you to be out there setting up these properties. I want you to be out there interviewing your potential tenants for your HMOs. I want you to be out there talking to estate agents and doing what you need to do in order to kick this thing off. But what I don't want is for you to end up with bad deals just because an estate agent has seen that you are eager, has seen that you are enthusiastic, and they have confidence that you are going to look after the property. Don't forget that that is your own reward. That is a positive for you, that you have come across as such a confident person that the estate agent feels that they can trust you. But that doesn't mean that you should then allow them to sell you a bad deal. So deal analysis is absolutely fundamental. Now, at what point do I normally suggest that deal analysis is done? I think that deal analysis should be done exactly at the point of when you see any opportunity. So even if you've not gone to look at the property yet, do your deal analysis first, okay, before you start chasing that property or that agent, okay? We need to firstly know whether it would make sense to take on that property. Now, at the point, if it does make sense, so your deal analysis says yes, this is a good opportunity, we can really make some money from this, yes, then of course you can then chase up your agents, you can chase up your private landlords and make sure that you are securing yourself a good deal. Obviously, I'll go through all of the points that you want to argue, that you want to talk about in the program. All of those things are already set in the programs, okay? Because there are things that you need to be asking the agents for, and there are things that you need to be asking the landlords for in order to bag yourself an incredible deal, okay? But first, you want to paint a picture through your deal analysis of whether this is a good idea. And so hopefully your deal analysis is telling you that it's a good idea, then you can pursue it. For those ones that is telling you it's not a good idea, please don't bother going for it, okay? Now, on some occasions, you might be able to talk to the landlord and talk to the agent and maybe decrease the rent here and there. But if that decreasing of the rent doesn't achieve you or doesn't move you towards at least 60 to 70% of what you want your profit margin to be, then I would say please don't go for it. It's not a good deal. So what is the purpose of our deal analysis? The purpose of our deal analysis is simply this: am I getting a good deal or not? Am I going to make money or not? Yes or no? Final answer, and that's it. I'll see you on the next one.